Today I want to show you how to make a poor man's version of napalm using old styrofoam and really any type of fuel like gasoline or Goof Off or acetone. You're going to need something to put all this in. Also, you're going to have a lot of fumes in this, so you need to have some ventilation. I got some ventilation right there. As far as safety goes, gloves seem to be the only thing you might need when you're actually handling the poor man's napalm. That'd be when it's a goop. It's quite sticky and stuff like that, so you definitely don't want to get it on your hands. Plus, gas isn't really something, or fuel is not something you really want to get on your hands or on you at all. So I suggest gloves when we get to that part. How this works is, this is actually a polystyrene with a bunch of air pockets in it, which actually makes it really easy to dissolve. Normal polystyrene takes a lot longer to dissolve, but because this is such open and a lot of surface area, it dissolves one layer, goes to the next layer, dissolves that a lot faster than if you just had polystyrene that wasn't foamed up. So it's just air pockets really. It's not that big of a deal. But I will go ahead and show you how this works. It's super easy. I use it to light fires that went with wet wood sometimes because this gets really hot and it lasts a while. But you'll go ahead and take your fuel. Just throw you some in there. And then you can start breaking up your foam. Go. It's a good size. Just throw her in there. See how quickly that foams up? It's dissolving it. It's not really dissolving it. What's actually happening is polystyrene has, I believe it's a 2-carbon molecule. And if you know anything about fuel, the longer the chain of carbons there are, the more volatile or the more flammable that fuel is. And what's happening is a lot of these longer chained carbons are actually adding carbons to the polystyrene, which is making it more volatile, and the more volatile it is, the more it evaporates, the more it turns into a liquid. So now we have this goopy stuff at the bottom here. Wow, that's really goopy. It's normally not that goopy. Here we go though. I normally do this with gasoline. I wanted to try this Goof Off though. See if it was any different. I knew it would dissolve this. Wasn't worried about that. I'm just wondering. Because when you do it with gas, it's not as sticky, which would be greater for starting fires. Looks like I need more with this stuff. We'll see. Dissolve. This is actually quite fun to watch happen. Gasoline does seem to last longer. This stuff seems to, I don't know, it's slower. Not in the, it dissolves it quicker, but it's almost like it doesn't last as long. Yeah, I think with the gasoline, it doesn't dissolve it as much. So the fresh gasoline can come in and clean up better. This dissolves it a lot more thoroughly. So in the future, I might just stick with gasoline. That stuff right there is poor man's napalm. This is definitely going to be a lot more flammable. Might last longer than with gasoline. Yeah, definitely need ventilation. I can smell this. But how about you say we go test this out? I figured I might go ahead and light a little piece in here just so you can see it. Got a brick here I want to light it on. Just get a very tiny bit. Remember, at this point you need to be wearing gloves. But that right there, oh, that stuff is so sticky. Remember, ventilation when you light this stuff. Black smoke. Very hard to put this flame out. Part of the reason why this is good for war is it likes to keep itself going. It's really hard. It sticks to whatever it gets onto. Hard to put out. Burns hot. I do like the gasoline version more. I'm gonna try making my next batch with gasoline. Okay, so got this little piece of wood here that's already partially burned, but I figure I'd go ahead and coat this sucker. Let's see how sticky that is too. That stick here. Yep, that's just everything it touches. Sticky. Yep. It's lighter. Get this away. Woo. Yeah, and that's why you don't want to get this on you. Well, now you got to see me make the poor man's napalm with the Goof Off, which didn't seem to, how do I call that? When you started doing this, it slowed down quickly because instead of the liquid being separate from the napalm, which gasoline does, it tended to just mold it all together and make this very viscous mass, all of it. Instead of with this, with gasoline, it kind of separates itself out. And that also seems to make this melt down quicker, even though it's actually a little slower. So this will separate out into the goop and the gasoline, and then you separate the gasoline from the goop. Remember, ventilation. And the ventilation isn't, at this point, is more just to get rid of the gas fumes. Because the fumes of gas, when you have all these bubbles coming up, it's aerating the gas and it's evaporating a lot quicker. So this is the kind of goo I expect from gasoline. It's a lot less sticky, as you can see, because I can kind of just play with it. And it's still gas separated from it. It's not one solid, well, not solid, one thing of goo. It's separated out. This burns a little better in my opinion though. Do not do this without gloves. Yeah. I've also used this right here before for making molds, because once the gasoline dries out of this, it just turns back into a hard plastic and it almost feels like glass. That's good. Woo. Even though I got ventilation, the fumes are pretty high. Just because I'm playing with it. You don't have to do this, by the way. I'm just doing it to speed up the process a little. And it feels kind of cool. Got us a cake being made, or a piece of bread. We got it. And of course I dropped it on the ground, and now it's got dog hair in it. Great. But that's okay, we're gonna burn it. Okay, and meet you outside, I guess. Okay, so it's been like 20 minutes since I lit off the Goof Off poor man's napalm. But now we're gonna try the gasoline napalm. I'm gonna do just about this much right here. Save the rest for maybe making a mold. But here's this. Let's see how she handles. Oops. Oh, I didn't quite get it on there, did I? Ah, it's too hot. I can't do it. Make a play with it with a stick. Once this gets going, it gets quite sticky. I'd say it's a little better than the other stuff. You don't waste as much fuel to make it. That's nice. We saw how the gasoline napalm burned and how the Goof Off napalm burned. Now I this will have to wait for another video really, but I'm gonna just put this in here, let it spread out, and I want to see how this hardens, and maybe I'll show that in a later video of how this looks after it hardens, because to me it's kind of like a hard glass. Maybe I'll pick it up, play with it halfway through drying. It can take a long time sometimes, so no promises. But yeah, I want to see what it looks like. So I'm just going to put this up on the shelf and show you guys it later. If you liked this video and you'd like to see more like it, please like, share, and subscribe. I'm still a small channel, so every little bit helps. Every subscription helps. Every video you watch helps. And if you think there's any videos that I should do, if there's stuff that I need to add, like more safety, any suggestions, anything would help, because I'm still figuring this out for myself. And every criticism is good for me to hear. I need to hear them so I know where to get better.